So, 44 in an hour. That's how many pet pills we were able to get. So we're 44 times stronger, which probably isn't going to take us very far. But we also have a lot more monuments in their upgrades. So, there's that. And also, this fella spent a lot of time exercising. So that's quite a bit of power as well. So we might make it a little bit further. Is that the limit? We did damage. Alright, so it looks to me like 2 hours. Maybe 3. Because it's not like the monuments are giving me as much as they were before. Diminishing returns and all that. Yeah, I think 2 hours. Unfortunately, I intend to be asleep in 2 hours. So, a pity. 13. Where is it? There it is. So we can cut the Ultimate Pet Challenge in half. I'll end up being a little later because I'm going to be sleeping for a bit. I need to sleep. So, when exactly do I plan to be awake again? I must plan these things. I really just want to sleep for as long as my body needs it, but let's guess. I give myself 5 hours. Yeah, okay, I guess. Yeah, okay, I guess. So really, I could probably set this up and just do a 12-hour item camp. Just do 12 hours on everything. How long did I say? 5, right? Yes. I am tired. Oof. Alright, let's see. I'm sure you guys can handle that without your rogue, right? No, of course not. What am I thinking? That's ridiculous. Get that. Oh no, what have I done? Ah! Everything is wrong! Except you. You're perfect. Okay. There. Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, yes, everything is correct now. That's not long enough to beat the boss. We need 1 more hour. Too bad. I need to make antidotes. I need to sort things out. Well, we're making sacred stones right now, so that's just too bad. All this stuff is going to stop because I'm out of sacred stones. They're just a hassle, that's all they are. A hassle. That's enough, I'm gone. Righto. 5 hours equals 1,103. Well, that seems fine to me. Let's go ahead and... Oh, wait, I need... Dish. Poof. Feeding. Okay, so we've definitely got it at this point. By now, oh, this is so done. Let's go ahead and... Oh, look at this. Plop, plop, plop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Okay, seems good. Okay, very well. Unleash our might. Oh crap, I should have put the clones on increasing the power of Unleash Might. How close are we? Poop. Alright, we've got 4 minutes to figure this out. We didn't even do damage. Ah, poop, we're not close. Alright, alright. an hour from now, I'm going to be streaming, and in the middle of the stream, off camera, don't tell the people watching the stream that I do this all the time. I mean, they already know. But don't acknowledge it! I'll just reach over in an hour, and I'll just close this fight out. And, let me see. Yeah, this will end the challenge, and I'll start another one. Let me see. Next one should be Planet Multiplier Challenge. Where are you, Planet? Sorry, I'm not used to seeing all of these here. So this should become 53 and give us... Ultimate Beings will be dropping 6% more energy. I don't know if I want that, to be honest. I like the clean numbers I'm getting right now. Well, the sacrifices one must make for power! So yeah, I've been thinking about this some. I want to do I think I want to do as many of these as I feel I can before I do the ball challenges. Because I don't think these, but I might find that I need these done before, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Next one though, I definitely want to do a double rebirth challenge, because I want to see just how much I can increase that. Man, I've been too busy doing too many things. Okay, let me see. Where is it? I think that'd be the first one. Oh man, look at these times. I know I can do better than this. Maybe I can't. I don't know. But I can. This is gonna become tiny like these. Oh man, I gotta do a no divinity challenge and a 1K clone challenge and a no rebirth challenge. But yeah, I actually have enough. I could make this 40. I kind of want to do a day challenge. Kind of want to cycle through them, but this one here. It counts the CBC rewards. And then, if I get another 5 million, that's about as far as I can go with it. I could increase the potency of this quite a bit. I don't know what the balance is, how fast I should rebirth, though. I really don't know. I might have to do it twice before I get it right. But yeah, I can get a larger bonus from that, and that'll help me with many of these challenges when doing the Ultimate Challenge. But I should be able to knock a few more Ultimate challenges out easily enough. And one of the rewards... is CBC. Another one is... let's see... No, wait, that's a reset multi. No Divinity Monument Challenge. Increase the base speed capacity. That's useful for a lot of things. Okay, that one. Might training being faster. Each one is maxed out at 10. Or is it gonna go 1, 2, 3, or is it just gonna increase the Ultimate Universe Challenge to 51 doing it? I'm not entirely clear. It might do it that way, where it just keeps giving me Ultimate Universe Challenge buffs until they're all out, and then move to the next one. Or it might go in sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. The double rebirths and CBCs would also help, but... Here, skip challenges, all achievement challenges, crystal power challenges. Increase the cap of no rebirth challenges by 5. And Printy Ball challenges by 25. It's so much when you add it all together. It's enormous. But it's something you'll have to work for. I have a feeling it's going to slow down massively. I should probably do just a day-might challenge and then come back and do another day-might challenge later. After completing all of this. Either way, we'll pick the low-hanging fruit first. Alright, anyway, let me go ahead and I'm just going to put these guys all in 1 hour. Hopefully this is enough of a multiplier to squeak by. You know what, it doesn't even matter that it says depth 3. When it's 1 hour and 12 minutes, they're not getting anywhere anyway. Right. The Unleash Might will be significantly stronger. All this divinity will have been used up. And we'll have more pet pills. It should be enough, I think. No, it'll be enough. We definitely have this. We got this in the bag. Boop. Alright then. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Bop, bop, bop. So I have been largely sticking to normal challenges on these. I've completed a few of them now. As you can see, we've brought this to 55. Let me check this for a second. Planet Multiplier Challenge, right. It begins. Yeah, I've already got some of the excess energy kicking around. Anyway, I've largely been sticking to this one, and because of just sleep and work and my schedule, this one. But I want to do these because I think that these, well, I really just want to see how quickly I can do one. So, from way, way, way back when, we've been sitting at 5.5 hours. How long you think it'll take me now? I really should try to harvest this last one, but you know what? I'm not gonna. Okay. Might as well do a quick harvest or two. Oh, right, of course. I can do this. More power. Crunch. Do that. Do that. More. Oh, right, ballpoints. Spend those. Rebirth. Do that. Do that. Do that. Alright, actually, there's something we should check on really quickly. And that is... Oh, yeah, it's gotten itself all the way back up. All the way to 107, in fact. Neat. Okay. Oh, right, of course. Can't forget that. Okay, last bit of harvesting here, and then we will try some rebirth challenges. Well, whoops. Maybe one more. Oops, why'd I do that? I don't care about that. What's this? Psst. Okay. 21. Who cares about that? That won't buy hardly anything. There was a time when I'd have cared about that. Way back when. Okay. Let's try the double rebirth challenge as quick as we can go. Ready? Go. Okay, training. Training begins. throw that there. Get that going. Crunch! 5 hours, was it? Not much I can really do with my shadow clones at the moment. Let's see. We can do that. I could spend chakra pills and liquids, but to what end? We're kind of stuck. I could try pushing, how will this affect my power? It seemed to be a little bit of an increase. You can see that that has a big old noticeable impact. What? No, die! It just insists on hanging on, doesn't it? Okay, unfortunately there's not a whole lot I can do until I get Diana here down, which I can't do yet. Oh, hey, we could rebirth for look, 3 of them are in green. That's a reason. Let's do it. I'm thinking about just spending my GP on clones right now, but no, it'd be stupid right now. As long as I'm doing these challenges, there's really no reason to. I have 190 points. It's almost enough to start getting our TBS progress. Almost enough, but not quite. Well, it might be time to finally read the story while we do this. Alright. I'll be right back. Let me go take care of one thing, and then we'll start reading the story. Okay, let's do a few things here. First, boop. Second, boop. No, turn that off. Make these. Okay, how about make these? You need water and plant. Easy enough. Excellent, excellent. And back to stone. Okay, excellent, excellent. I just need to beat this thing. Can I make a tomb? No, I can't. I should probably make some of these, though. Okay, we'll do this. There you go. A little bit more. Okay, that has to be enough. Yeah, that gives us enough mystic to beat this thing up. And with that, we'll probably call it good in rebirth. Yeah, I think that'll probably be pretty good. Yeah, we got this. Okay, then I can start reading the story. Story time! I have been negligent in my story reading duties for far too long. I must amend this immediately. Boop, boop. We just need to do this real fast. Oh, halfway. There we go. Okay. Water, plants, water. Yes. And back to stone. Okay. Probably good enough. Right. Monsters in the underground. I believe this is where we are at, right? Let me see. Okay. Before I prepare for my next fight, I talked to Athena a bit. We discussed Susanoo, my next target. Athena's power was more focused on the earth. She could modify everything on the ground to her wishes. Susanoo, on the other hand, was more focused on the sky. He could control the sky and heavily influence the weather, however he wanted. He was the strongest pupil of Zeus, and, while weaker than him, was still very powerful in the sky. When I told her that I wanted to fight him soon, she wished me good luck. As she was telling me that he is much stronger than myself, I interrupted her with, I know I can't win a fight as I am now, but I have ways to become powerful enough to be his match. I'll come back when I feel prepared to challenge him. After thanking her for telling me about his abilities, hey, we're green now, I went on my way. The last god to mainly use the sky as his primary element was Shu. He was able to control and create air, but compared to me now, he is very weak. I had to expect Susanoo's power to be on a whole different level. He was, at the very least, stronger than Athena. Fighting new flying monsters could help me prepare for the fight against Susanoo, but while flying around Warfield, I couldn't sense any other flying monsters. The harpies were much too weak for me to learn anything from anymore. Should I search for a new planet for monsters? I wondered. But that could have taken a long time, and while I was fighting the Minos, I also sensed a strong aura below them. I was sure that the Minos weren't the only monsters manifested here. The others were just deeper underground, and also stronger than the Minos. Too weak to learn anything from? Ha! Have you tried making clones that were really, really weak, and to have them try to find new ways to fight them? You might learn all kinds of interesting new techniques by hampering your clones in different ways. I decided to go back to where the Minos were, and then went on further underground to find a source of the new aura. Even if they couldn't fly, as long as they were strong enough for me to learn anything from, it wouldn't be a waste of time. Have we ever been given a reason why all these different fellas decide to make all this weird shit everywhere? I just felt like making harpies and making an unlimited supply of them. They're living sentient creatures, but I mean, if you just want to come through and just slaughter them for no reason, like, I guess that's just what we do to each other around here, and each other's stuff. Even if they couldn't fly, as long as they're strong enough for me to learn anything from, it wouldn't be a waste of time. It didn't take long to find the entry, and as I walked along the path, the area became bigger and more open. Why did you need to find an entrance? You can just plow through the ground. During the fight with the Mountain Maker, you were just smashing her mountains. I was a bit surprised. It was a whole new world underground. Yay, the Underdark! There were plants, unlike normal plants on the surface. They're called mushrooms. They were fiery red and seemed to be extremely heat resistant. Instead of water, you could see lava everywhere, and the plants were able to draw fluid out of the water and grow, even though this shouldn't have been possible. But here I saw it for myself. Well, hey, you've learned how to create a new type of plant. Go nuts! Well, and you could use that to eventually work your way up to all kinds of other weird, crazy life forms that are lava-based. Well, I didn't think about it much. Oh, that's a thing. Oh, well, not interested. Not gonna study it. There's just probably somebody who made them like this. Some dude. After walking for half an hour, I could feel the aura on the new monsters not much further away. It was very intense. I had a really ominous feeling about it, which forced me to go back. I had a feeling that it would kill me if I'd go any further. The monsters here were in a different league, not something my clones could hope to beat anytime soon. I was still curious about them, so I left a few clones here, waited until I went back out of reach, and let them continue to see the monster in there. When my clones went on to the new monsters, I could see through their eyes. They were big, lizard-like creatures with wings. Each one was easily 100 times bigger than one of my clones, and there were thousands of them. I was only able to see them for a short time because the nearest one exhaled fire much hotter than the lava in the area. This incinerated all my clones I had sent there in an instant. Just before that, I also saw a few of them flying. I was lucky they didn't notice me yet, because there's no way I could survive a fight against them. While their power was much weaker than that of Baal, who I had seen a while ago, and rather than being comparable to Athena or Susanoo's power level, they felt closer to Odin's scale. Odin was still far from being my next target, so the newfound dragons were nothing my clones should fight now. My clones would need many, many years of preparation and suffering to stand a chance. Yes, my clones, suffer! The area down here was huge, so I was sure there were also other monsters I could train against, monsters closer to Susanoo's power level. I went a different way, but made sure to remember this place to prepare for my fight against Odin when it was time for it. Boy, wouldn't it be embarrassing if she ever lost a fight to one of these gods? Because she always learns whatever they can make. So if she lost, presumably they'd learn what she can make, and then they'd be able to make shadow clones. And once her trick is in somebody else's hands, well, what's she got going for her? I'm still waiting for the day when she finally reaches the top and is like, well, shit, now what? Why'd I struggle so hard for this again? Oh no, I haven't been taking care of the people that I traveled with. What happened to everybody else? Continuing down the other path, I noticed again the aura of new monsters. This time the aura felt very weak. I almost didn't notice that. This was very weird. After just feeling the aura of dragons, something weak like this, I went back again, feeling cautious. Something felt wrong. Maybe a monster who could hide his true powers? I sent in some clones to scout the area, and they only noticed some stone statues of monsters with wings and a weird body. I named them Gargoyles. All of them looked the same. Why would there be so many statues here, I wondered. One of my clones went closer to inspect a gargoyle. Suddenly the eyes started to glow bright red. Not only the one statue my clone had touched, but all of them. There were at least 1,000. This also increased their aura output to very high levels. Some of them started to move. Others stayed still and only moved their eyes towards my clones. The eyes started to glow more intensely and fired a laser of light which pierced through my clones. This pretty much instantly killed them. Afterwards, I compared the power I felt from them to the monsters and gods I already knew. While it was quite a bit weaker than the dragons, I felt a similar strength to that of Susanoo. This might have been a tad too powerful. I only had to fight one Susanoo and not thousands at once. If I trained my clones until they could beat the Gargoyles, I'm sure I could easily beat Susanoo. I thought to myself, perhaps there are other monsters around closer to my power level. So I went on in search of more monsters, but didn't forget about the Gargoyles. I still sent many clones in there to fight them. They were flying creatures after all, and while still not... Are they? Are they flying creatures, or are they just statues that shoot lasers? Can they fly? Did it say that they fly? No, it didn't mention that they actually flew. They just have carved wings on them. They might just be statues, you know. And while still much stronger than my clones, the difference wasn't big enough that there was no point in sending them there. Maybe I would learn something that I could use. Hours later, I finally found other monsters that were at a power level comparable to my own. This meant still stronger than my clones. but also something that they were able to defeat within a reasonable time. They were red creatures with horns and a tail. Their tail could ignite fire like a torch. Oh, it's Charmeleon. Okay. I call them devils. Well, that's not a very nice thing to call a Charmeleon. I mean, you can nickname your monsters whatever you want, but still. I sent out a few clones to fight them. They fired aura balls, and just before they hit the devils, they quickly moved their tails in front of them to block the aura balls. They didn't only block, but they absorbed them. For a short while, the fire on their tails grew bigger until it moved towards their horns. The horns started to glow a bit, and then released the fire to shoot back at my clones. The force of their horn shots were smaller than the aura balls, but there were 2 of them at once, and they were harder to dodge for my clones. The devils were also really good at catching aura balls. They never missed even one. This rendered the aura balls useless, and some of my clones died of the counterfire. Next, some clones teleported towards the devils and tried to punch them. But their body was so hot that my clones burned themselves without doing much damage. The devils grew up here, where it was very hot, and lava is like water to them, which seemed to be the cause of their whole body to become as hot as lava. When my clones fully surrounded their fists with protective aura, it still was not enough against the heat of the devils' bodies. It must have been many thousands of degrees. Well, is that thousands in Celsius, Kelvin, or Fahrenheit? See, Fahrenheit and Celsius are very different scales, and we need to be precise with these things. Remember how you used to be so insanely precise with all your measurements? You're getting lazy. Alright, I should probably do things. Let's see how we're doing. Oh, there we go. Let's do it like this. Really? We're not getting enough divinity. That's the problem here. Not nearly enough. Let's make some light. Come on. Okay. Good enough. We should probably be thinking about rebirthing at this point. Okay, well, anyway. I'll let it have a little bit more time. From what I gathered until then, they absorbed fire and grew stronger with it, and they burned basically everything they touched. Nothing unexpected when I looked at the environment. The area where the devils had reassembled... the area where the devils were resembled a large open cavern. The air was extremely hot, and you could see many rivers of lava flowing towards a big lake of lava. Okay, well, you can make water. You know how to make ice. Shouldn't be too hard, right? Man, it must be horrific for one of these creatures that are used to existing at these temperatures to be touched by cold. Oh, man. Well, my clones couldn't use their aura balls or their fists. It wasn't something they couldn't work around. Fire was not the only element they could manipulate. If fire didn't work, how about water and earth? Oh, okay, you could just throw mud at them, sure. Water, or ice, was very hard to create in this environment. It would evaporate as soon as it was created. Calling for my asteroid friends wasn't easy because we were far underground. Why would that make it hard to call on the asteroids? I mean, space. Also, you're still not creating things. You're just summoning rocks and then using those to make other things. You don't create anything. You just conjure things to you. You're just a summoner. A disappointment. A failure. And since all the things are built one upon the other, that means that all of these quote-unquote gods are actually just conjurers. Petty conjurers. Fa! Alright, anyway. The aura of my clones protected their feet just enough so they could walk on the ground, but it was hard to manipulate the earth here without getting burned. That said, there was no other choice if they wanted to fight the devils. Using the ground to their advantage was the best option, though not the ground near the lava rivers. The area had enough room to teleport back and forth between the slightly cooler spaces and the more hot spaces. My clones did just that. They would teleport and punch the ground, taking a piece of rock and manipulating it with water and ice, forming a sort of ball. Then they would teleport back to the devils and throw them like cannonballs. The icy cannonballs made some impact, but not as much as I'd hoped. The devils smashed them to pieces with their horns, and, while the coldness surprised and stunned them for a few moments, they recovered fast from it. The short while was not enough for my clones to shoot a second ball, and they still couldn't punch through them or do anything else to damage them. The devils were also very good at covering each other. Even if 10 of my clones shot at one devil, other devils would rush to its aid. My clones were never able to hit one devil with multiple cannonballs at once. Here these poor lava-based life forms are just hanging around their city, living it up in their cavern home, doing whatever it is they do, farming lava fungus. And suddenly these horrible alien creatures burst in and start attacking them. And they're trying desperately to protect their friends and family, covering for each other. But these horrible shadow creatures have no mercy and no end to them. Their limitless numbers just kept coming and coming and coming. Would a hero rise up among these poor, beleaguered heat monsters? Probably not. Even so, it was already big progress. The icy balls did some damage, just not enough. We need to come up with more creative ways of genociding these poor unsuspecting devils, as I've named them. From then on, it was mostly a matter of creating stronger balls and throwing them faster, or firing multiple at once. I thought this was enough for now, so I summoned an army of clones to train and fight the devils, whilst I went to the surface. It was a good time to go back to Fortitude, to improve my monument and the divinity generator just a little bit more. Maybe that alone would be enough to help my clones defeat the devils. Back on Fortitude, I first went to my divinity generator. I filled it up with creations and summoned a few more clones to work on improving it. While I was training and fighting, it had created quite a sum of divinity, enough to go shopping for many more mountains, forests, villages, and oceans. Also, a few nations and continents from Athena, perhaps? I spent about half of my divinity on everything but continents, and had my clones upgrade my monuments sequentially up to the godly statues. I saved the other half for the continents from Athena, but first I had to create one on my own so I could explain to her exactly what I needed. They had to be designed specifically to improve the power I gained from my pyramids. A continent is a large land mass. Usually has a few nations on it. It's surrounded by ocean. Usually has a few nations on it, so I can't call you out on Antarctica not having any. Unless you want to count the Penguin Nation. It's a pretty epic nation. They have emperors, you know, penguins. I didn't really want to create them all by myself, so I went to Poseidon to buy an ocean and Lamia to buy 4 nations. I felt that was enough to work for a new continent, and buying them had already saved me a ton of work. Thanks to the wormholes, it wasn't too hard to transport them. I would also just throw out everything I didn't need into the wormholes. I wasn't powerful enough to create a whole planet or to change its size, so I had to work with the size of the current Fortitude. The available space was not endless, but I was sure as I moved up the ladder of gods I would eventually be able to increase its size as much as I wanted. Are you stupid? Are you really dumb? What do you mean you can't increase the size of a planet? You just take rocks and you add rocks. You just keep adding rocks and it gets bigger. And gravity will pretty much take care of the rest for you. If you want to make another planet, just put a whole lot of mountains together. Or continents, whatever, it's fine. Eventually, gravity will take over and it'll become a planet. I can't figure it out. How do I make planet? Oops, I've been making light this whole time. I don't need that much light. What I do need is this. A mountain, stone, water. Perfect. Ugh, water, fine. There. Now you're easy. But not as easy as I was hoping. Somehow you still have some fight in you. Next bite, we get to have the upgrades. Okay. Poof again. We are about 30 minutes into this now. That's fine. Fight. Crunch. Okay. But now I could rearrange it until it worked out the best for my monuments. First, I emptied up an area thousands of kilometers large until there was nothing left. The ground in the center had to be much higher at the borders so the nation could go on top of that. Then I filled out the border with the ocean from Poseidon and finally added the 4 nations on top of the center. This was only a short summary of what I had to do, but in reality it was a lot of work. It was my biggest project so far, and even with the prepared ocean and nations, it still took me almost a year to create my first continent. At the end, I moved the pyramid to the center of the 4 nations so every nation was able to reach and pray to them. Why exactly is the pyramid necessary in this scheme? Why not just a picture of you? Or a statue of you, if that's what you're after? I could feel a surge of power after it was all done, so I had to make sure that it worked. Honestly, how exactly does this work? Like, you make them, and for some reason they have power to give you, that they give you through prayer? Like, I don't know, I've never understood why that would be a thing. Lots and lots of fiction does that. Like, oh yeah, sure, worship, that's where divinity gets all of its power from. And I'm like, but why? Why would that make you powerful? Is there a reason that would make you powerful? Is it like your food? You get powerful by exercising. No, really, you do. Look, see? Exercises make you stronger. I don't know. It's weird. I could feel a surge of power after it was all done, so I was sure it had worked. However, it was not as big a boost as I was hoping for. Was it worth all that effort? Maybe my time would have been better spent further improving my other monuments instead. But then again, I had learned something new, and in the future I could buy my continents from Athena. For that alone, it might have been worth the trouble. It also wasn't like I was in a hurry, so anything new and interesting I could do wasn't ever a bad thing. The pyramid was also not the only monument I'd improved. It took so long that I had enough spare time to improve the other monuments as well. Maybe the improvements to my pyramid were just felt a bit weak because I'd improved my other monuments during the time it took to build. Now I was itching for the fight again. It had been a year since I'd come to Fortitude, and my clones on Warfield had all long since died against the devils. Once I returned to Warfield, I summoned more clones and set them once more to fight the devils. I watched them as they created and shot their icy earth cannonballs, and while it was better than before, it was still not enough to kill the devils. Even with a much higher force and impact, their horns destroyed the balls before they did any real damage. The force was already enough to leave marks in their paths. even without touching anything. It was doubtful that an even higher force would do better. The options were either to improve their durability or control their paths after shooting them to evade the devil's horns. I decided for homing cannonballs. Bypassing their horned defense was a sure bet to win. Since I didn't know how much the durability had to increase in order to break their horns, my clones were already able to somewhat manipulate the path of aura balls, but for icy earth balls it was much harder because it was more physical than just energy. That said, it was far from impossible. They had to surround the balls with more aura and control it to change the direction of the balls. I could already see some improvements here within the first day, but this resulted in the balls moving much more slowly. The devils were still easily able to counter them. Since my clones knew what to do, I went back to the Gargoyles. Not yet able to beat them, but to check how much my clones had improved and maybe find out how they would fly. If they could even fly at all. Considering how heavy they looked. Some clones went inside again, and the Gargoyles lit up their eyes to fire at my clones once more. Last time they weren't able to dodge many of the lasers. Would they be able to do so now? The first clone failed to dodge. The second one failed too. The third clone was only grazed by the laser, but it still pierced through his arm, which reduced his mobility. Oh no! My arm has been pierced. I am not as mobile as I was now. I guess I can't do the foot race event. Oh. The second laser that came a split second later easily evaporated him. Then I summoned a few thousand clones at once and let them shoot aura balls towards the Gargoyles. The Gargoyles were easily able to shoot down the aura balls. Not one of them reached a gargoyle. Well, it was sad, since none of the Gargoyles had even moved and I didn't see any one of them fly. It was also convenient. My other clones had to train to change the path of their icy earth balls, and the clones here had to shoot aura balls to dodge the lasers. The lasers were at light speed, so dodging them was, of course, much harder. What, we still haven't surpassed the speed of light? Amateurs. The Gargoyles on Susanoo. Oh. These are getting longer, aren't they? More substantive. Alright. Hold up. We gotta see how we're doing at this. I could use that. Go ahead, make stuff. Okay, let's see. That gets us a little bit more divinity. And that should in turn make this easier. You would think this... Oh, okay, we got one. Okay, we're good. Light. Make it. Make it now. Water and stone. I wish I could have the no divinity challenge multiplier effect on for my creations all the time. I would love that. Okay, so now we got all of that done. We're only able to beat one more. That's okay though. What we really need is to be able to make more mountains. Shouldn't be too long now. We'll get back to that shortly. For the next few weeks, I continued to summon shadow clones to replace the dead, and had them train their aura manipulation. I switched back and forth from the Gargoyles and the Devils, My clones were now able to freely change the path of the icy balls without speed loss, so the devils couldn't destroy them with their horns anymore. The paths of the balls had become too unpredictable for them. The devils also tried to block the balls with their tails, but it wasn't like the aura balls, where they could just absorb the energy. The icy earth balls had a high density. They just punched past their tails before impacting their body at full power. The force was so strong that many died in one hit. Mission accomplished! My clones could now easily massacre these things. After moving back to the gargoyles, it didn't look promising. While the aura balls of my shadow clones were fun to look at now, like odd fireworks, even with constantly changing their paths, the gargoyles still had no trouble destroying them with their lasers. The speed of the aura balls were simply too slow and couldn't compare with the speed of light. I did still see some progress, and I realized the speed of light didn't mean anything if the reaction speed of the gargoyles was slower than the movement of the aura balls. They still shot down all the aura balls, but sometimes a second or third gargoyle had to help. This only worked out for them because there were more gargoyles than clones. Not long after that, I increased the number of clones so that they overmatched the gargoyles to see what would happen. Just like I had hoped, they weren't able to shoot down all the aura balls anymore. A few of them made contact. Sadly, they weren't damaged by the impact. After getting hit with an aura ball, it activated some kind of rage mode in the gargoyles. They began to glow bright red, similar to their eyes, stood up and hovered in the air, and spread their wings. Then, in midair, the red glow focused on the edge of their wings, and they flapped once. This caused something like a storm with lightning-like lasers, and almost annihilated all my clones. This way I learned it's a bad idea to stand below the wings of a gargoyle. I knew my clones were still far from being able to beat gargoyles, but I'd seen enough. I just wanted to see if they could fly. Have you considered rebirthing to increase your power level? I went back to the surface. The time had come to search for Susanoo and to challenge him. First, I wanted to test what my clones had learned a little more. The way to manipulate and change direction of balls should apply to pretty much any of my creations. First, I called forth a few stones and fused my aura around them and controlled them mid-air. I sped them up so much that they were barely visible anymore. After a while, I could control many of them at once and let them dance in the air the way I wanted. I shot an aura ball at a stone and forced it to split in two just before impact, then fused it again after it had passed the first stone, so it would destroy the second. The splitting apart caused the aura ball to become almost invisible, so it seemed like it had disappeared. Well, this might come in handy when I fight Susanoo. It was really fun. I can control everything much better now. I felt prepared enough for Susanoo and decided to search for him. After a while, I encountered Athena and asked her where I could find him. She said that he is usually above the clouds somewhere. He likes to observe the world from above and plays around a lot with the weather on the planet. Sometimes he lets it rain, sometimes hail, sometimes he calls down furious lightning strikes, and sometimes he's just sitting there lazily doing nothing. That is when it's sunny, like now and most of the time. So I flew up above the clouds. The air was thin here, but I was already accustomed to it. Back when I fought Lamia, he was holding two swords and was surrounded by two snakes. I wondered, why snakes? Did they have anything to do with his ability to control the weather? Maybe it was just a coincidence. And now he was high above the cloud, so unlikely that the snakes were still there. Can I defeat you? Ah, good. Excellent. Excellent. Perhaps we should rebirth again. No. Let's try the mountains. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, now we just need the power to defeat a forest. Or was it make a forest? we do just kind of destroy everything. He was sitting on a cloud, pointing towards other smaller clouds and forming figures out of it. He still had 2 swords attached to his belt, and even the snakes were still there. What surprised me the most, however, was how he was able to sit on the cloud. Clouds can't be heavier than air to stay up here, and if they were as light as the air, they couldn't support the weight of someone without letting him fall through. I also noticed no resistance at all when I had flown through clouds in the past. Oh dear. See, the idea of sitting on a cloud is already a fantasy object when you can sit on it. I mean, they look like they're kind of fluffy, solid shapes in the distance, but